If you're going to try to redefine use of lethal force to this extent, do you realize the increase in legal problems that you're going to be creating for police departments? Now, that is not to say that police officers should not be trained. I actually think police need better training. Not every police department gets the same level of training. And I think that this is the biggest misconception about law enforcement and about training. Not every department gets the same level of training. One of the biggest misses that we had was the opportunity to really explore that in the wake of Parkland, because the Broward County Police, and this all came out during the Stoneman Douglas hearings, it was realized that their sheriff at the time, the absolute failure, Scott Israel, was so derelict on his professional duties, his deputies could not remember the last time that they had been trained in an active shooter response. They did not drill regularly. They did not train regularly. That is one of your jobs as sheriff. I mean, literally, it's one of your jobs as sheriff. You have to, you're helping your deputies be trained. Now, compare and contrast that with Coral Springs. And I looked into this deeper after this happened. Coral Springs Police Department carries out regular trainings, not just drills, and not just like night trainings and things like that, but they consistently practice active shooter response drills and different techniques. And I believe that during the hearings, they said that they had actually increased the trainings even more, the amount of training, like doubled it or something to that extent in the wake of Parkland. Not every police department has the same level of training, and some only offer, I mean, there are some departments out there, and a lot of this depends on their budget too. And it depends on who's running the department. One of the things that we need more of is discernment training. When you are going through any kind of defensive firearms course, the first thing, and I think this is just like for every course, it comes up either at the beginning or at some point during the class, depending on what it is, how you are responsible for de-escalation. And particularly in states that don't have stand your ground, that's even more important. Because you have the firearm, it is viewed, at least in a court of law, and I say this because of case precedent that they presented in the classes that I took on this, that the responsibility of de-escalation is on you. I know, you would think that maybe the person who is like the potential assailant would have, but I'm just telling you how overzealous prosecutors work. And the goal is to make sure that you are able to operate freely and legally in self-defense, if need be. So, and discernment training is to being able to quickly identify what is or is not a threat. Now, Joe Biden has talked about cutting the budgets of police force, defunding the cops. They try to say, and they try to come and walk it back, and they try to say that, well, you know, he's not going to defund the police. We're just taking some of their funds and moving it elsewhere, and they have to meet this arbitrary list of, you know, whatever. Well, when you're talking about taking a lot of money from one entity and moving it somewhere else, you're talking about defunding that entity. Does that entity still have that money? Yes or no? No, because you're moving it. You defunded it. It is such semantic garbage. What do you think is the first thing that suffers in that? What is the first thing to suffer? Training.